What's up guys, it's Gone, and today we'll be revisiting the prospect of trading for Ohtani this deadline, and what would be by far the biggest trade for a rental in MLB history. Over the past couple of weeks, the Angels have been reeling, losing 5 in a row heading into the All-Star break in 9 of their last 10, and losing Mike Trout for a month in the process. With their current record at 1 game below 500 and within a stacked American League wildcard race, chances are slim that the Angels will reach the playoffs, much less do damage. This, of course, has led to rumors on possible trades for their star players, with conflicting reports regarding Shohei Ohtani on whether or not the team is willing to trade him. Although a trade like this one may seem unlikely, we thought the same thing about the Juan Soto trade last deadline, and it may be wise for the Angels to trade Ohtani rather than lose him in this free agency for nothing. Ohtani, of course, is having another historic season, but this one may be the best one yet. On the pitching side, he has taken a small step back as he's been walking more guys, possibly due to blisters affecting his control, but still has been unhittable as ever, leading the league with only 6 hits per 9 innings. However, on the hitting side, he's been absolutely phenomenal, leading the league in slugging percentage, OPS, OPS+, and total bases at the All-Star game, and by far and away is the best all-around hitter in the American League right now. As a rental, the team will only have him for half a season before having to re-sign him or risk losing him, which would lower the price a little bit, but this is still Shohei Ohtani, guys, and the price will be massive regarding multiple top prospect and young studs for sure. But before we get onto the video, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but it also encourages me to create more videos like this one for you guys. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. The St. Louis Cardinals have long been rumored in any possible Shohei Ohtani trade talks since the last trade deadline, but right now I can't really see it happening. For starters, the Cardinals have one of the worst records in the National League, with pitching woes outside of one spot that can be remedied for Ohtani. Next, the Cardinals are a small market who already have these large contracts with Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and Wilson Contreras, and may not have the capital to sign Ohtani long term, which is what the move would be given the Cardinals' low playoff odds this season. Lastly, I don't think Ohtani would want to go to the Midwest anyways. One of the main reasons Ohtani signed with the Angels in the first place was that he was on the Pacific Coast, and the rumored teams Ohtani is interested in this offseason, like the Dodgers or Mariners, are also on the West Coast as well. Although it may be unlikely though, a trade actually works out pretty nicely for the Cardinals, as they have a plethora of young pieces from a top farm system to get a trade done without parting with big names like Jordan Walker or Nolan Gorman. However, a trade would still cost a lot though, sending over pitchers Matthew Liberatore and Gordon Graceffo, outfielder Joshua Baez, and prize shortstop prospect Mason Wynn. A trade like this makes sense for the Cardinals in that none of these players have contributed to the major league level yet, but the Angels get some high upside pieces in return for half a year of Ohtani. Liberatore and Graceffo both have huge potential as starting pitchers and can pitch at the top end of a rotation. While Baez is too young to project, Mason Wynn looks like a franchise shortstop with a rocket arm and developing bat to boot. The Seattle Mariners have long been the epitome of a team that consistently has East Asian talent, and trading for Shohei Ohtani would certainly keep that legacy alive. This fan base really seems to want him if their chance for come to Seattle during the All-Star game didn't already give that away. At 45-44, the Mariners are currently on the outside looking in this AL playoff race, but all signs point to a big second half that hopefully results in a playoff spot for this ball club. Their pitching is excellent all around in their rotation, and adding some positive regression towards their hitting core would work wonders. Of course, so would adding the best hitter in the American League too. Long term, the Mariners may be able to keep Ohtani. He certainly would like to play here with the Ichiro connection, but the question is if they have the money, or if the Angels would even be willing to trade the best player of all time to a division rival. At least they have the young starting pitching to make an enticing trade package. In mine, I send over 2 of the top-of-the-line young starting pitchers that they have, in Bryce Miller and Matt Brash, as well as 26-year-old outfielder Cade Marlowe for Shohei Ohtani. If the Angels do this trade, they get 2 young starting pitchers who have already reached the major league level and have upside of aces in the rotation. Meanwhile, Marlowe is also a major league ready player and can provide some controllable years as a 4th outfielder type of sorts. Like the Seattle Mariners, the San Diego Padres have been scuffling a little bit, but by all accounts it looks like they're going to break out in a big way going into the second half of the season. After all, it just seems like a mixture of bad luck and circumstance that they fell this hard. With an ownership group that wants to spend and a general manager willing to part with big prospects to acquire huge names like Juan Soto, it makes sense for a trade like this to happen. In the short term, the Padres win a wildcard slot after a huge second half mainly by Juan Soto but definitely aided by Ohtani, but they do not come close to winning the division over the rival Dodgers. In the long term, it would be up in the air as to whether or not they can keep him as well as Soto, and they risk losing him to the rival Dodgers, which would be a gut punch. Overall, this would be a good short-term solution, but might be a horrible plan in the long run, but they still have the pieces to make a trade. And really the only one that works without sending over big major league talent, the Padres send over their top prospect in Jackson Merrill, as well as left-handed pitcher Adrian Morejon. Merrill long-term is blocked by shortstop Xander Bogaerts, making him one of the top trade deadline pieces, and Morejon is only 24 years old and a former top prospect hampered by injuries. But the real prize here for the Angels is Jackson Merrill, a former first-round pick who is likely to stay at shortstop, but has the arm to play third base, or even second if need be. His hitting is his calling card though, hitting .339 at only 19 years old last year, and .280 this year in high A at only 20 years old. The Dodgers are the favorites to sign Ohtani in the offseason and keep him in LA, but they could really use him now all things considered. Due to injuries in the pitching rotation, the Dodgers have had to rely on rookies probably a bit more than they would like, and Ohtani would be the ace until everyone gets back. Although the Dodgers already have a great DH already, with JD Martinez, who are we kidding? Ohtani is on another level, and I'm sure something could work out to make the fit work. The knockback is, though, will Artie Moreno be willing to swallow his pride and deal Ohtani to his crosstown rivals, knowing that it would be the best move for the team? With a top 3 farm system, though, the Dodgers can offer a plethora of prospects and young starting pitchers to make a trade happen. In my trade, I have young talented catcher Dalton Rushing, as well as pitchers Gavin Stone and Ryan Pepiot, going back in the deal. This package would be much more a year earlier, but they still get decent value back now for half a year of Ohtani. Rushing looks like he can be a great all-around catcher with a .908 OPS as a 22-year-old in high A, while Stone and Pepiot are good young controllable starting pitchers who can be mid to high-end rotation pieces if all works out. But Rushing is probably the main piece heading back in the deal as a top-of-the-line catching prospect. I really think that the Mets should make a strong push to trade for Ohtani this trade deadline. With the middling record going into the All-Star break, a Shohei Ohtani trade might be the thing that puts them all together towards a possible playoff push in the second half. They definitely have the talent to do so, and adding Ohtani adds more depth to a lineup that on paper is already full of it. Long term though, trading for Ohtani now gives the Mets more of an advantage to signing Ohtani versus the rival Dodgers. If the Mets are able to entice Ohtani in his short time with the club, then it would all be worth it in the long run. The Mets have a decent prospect system to facilitate a trade, but in my opinion, almost all chips on the table for making this happen outside of maybe Francisco Alvarez. In my trade, I have prize catching prospect Kevin Parada going back in the deal, as well as shortstop prospect Jet Williams and pitcher Coleman Crowe. Although the Angels already have a Hoppy at catcher, Parada looks like he can be another great catcher and can always be traded for value later on. Jet Williams is a former first-round pick, and although he has struggled in the minor leagues, he still has upside. Lastly, Coleman Crowe has pitched very well in AA this year to the tune of a 1.88 ERA and may pan out into something. Overall, though, this trade would be a huge loss for the Mets if they don't keep Ohtani long-term, as the pieces they send over do have very high upside. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. Again, trade deadline's in full motion, so if you have any players, just comment down below, and I'll probably make a video on that. But if you have any other ideas outside of the trade deadline, also let me know. And I will see you guys in the next one.